Stephen Harris is good.
Good morning, guys. Good morning. Hello, everybody. How's your morning going? Where are you dialing in from around the world? If I don't know you, I know you're from Sweden. Where's everyone else from? Okay, guys, especially new guys, rugby. Oh, there's somebody from rugby. Austria, Australia. Excellent, fabulous. And I know we have some people from South Africa. And Perth. Wow. Oh, hello, Alan. How are you? All right, guys, some of you are on all panelists only. If you scroll down, oh, sunny pool. I actually was talking about pool yesterday, Andy, and I was just saying, oh, wouldn't it be amazing to be in pool at the moment? Sandbanks, one of my favorite places in the UK. Sussex, sunny Sussex. Okay, Sheffield, London. You're on the river, aren't you, Anthony? The river is looking beautiful today. Close. Okay, guys, all of you guys. Yeah, I know. Tell me about it. That's driving me insane. You know, I could imagine if I was living by the beach and I can't go to the beach. Oh my God, it would do my head in. Seriously, would do my head in. Right, Andy and a few other people, you on in the chat box, you are on only all panelists. Okay, that means I can see your comments, but no one else can. So if you change to all panelists and attendees, you scroll down to the bottom, you click on the drop down, and you do all panelists attendees, then everyone can see your comments. Cool, well done, Andy. So really an eclectic, well, not to mention Yorkshireland. I mean, that's another world away, isn't it? Wanstead Park. I want to go out to Wanstead Park, Andre. When we last met, you spoke about it. It sounds like a really nice place. So all over the place. That is amazing. Cool bananas. Oh, you just got back. So you're close to the beach. However, Southdown is closer. So having daily walks there, just go back. Cool. That sounds great. That sounds great. We actually took a walk yesterday. It was so lovely. It was like cross Tower Bridge, down to London Bridge and back around. And it was really amazing. It really was lovely. It was lovely. And, you know, normally you're jostling, you know, because we live right next to Tower Bridge. So you're jostling along, trying to avoid tourists and photographers and whatnot. And yep, and it was deserted. It was empty, so it was quite nice. The birds, yeah, everything's so much more clearer, isn't it, Patricia? It's quite amazing. Hi, Lynette. Okay, again, Lynette, you're an all panelist. You want to just change to all panelist attendees, and everyone can see your comments if you want to. All right, so what are we going to talk about today? Monkey World is probably 30 minutes away. Monkey World. What is Monkey World, Andy? Maybe I should know that. I don't know. Sorry. Does it place with monkeys in it? Having a place with monkeys in it. Okay.
Good place to sell bananas.
Oh, Kevin was asking. Okay. Right. I used to live in a place called Umhlanga Rocks, which is about 15 kilometers north of Durban in South Africa, and we lived in this beautiful little house, magnificent garden, small but really nice, and we had no shortage of monkeys. I mean, monkeys would break into our house at night. They'd come up to the bedside table and take things off our bedside table. You know, they were just mad. They were vervet monkeys. So I'm not. Yeah. And then in Cape Town, you got the baboons. and we used to paraglide a lot. So we had to be careful where we landed because you could land in amongst the troop of baboons, and that's not really what you would want. So yeah, I've had some interesting experience with the monkey breed species. Oh, Planet of the Apes. Oh my gosh. Oh, the new version. Was it the new one? Because that came out a few years ago, wasn't it? Oh, you're from Durban. Nolan, you've been in the UK for 20 years now. Oh my gosh, you must be missing it. You must be missing it. Although I have to admit, yeah, we've been here now 8 years. 8 years. Yeah, been here 8 years. I have to admit, I'd rather be here in lockdown than in South Africa, to be honest with you. So, Morningside. Okay, cool. Morningside. Excellent. Where's Misty Cliffs, Cheryl? Yeah. Umhlanga Rocks is, oh, Cape Town. No, Cape Town. No. When we stayed in Cape Town, we lived in Cape Town in Oranjezakt. We had a very old house, beautiful old Cape house in Oranjezakt, the heart of Cape Town. But I used to paraglide off Tower Mountain and Lion's Head and Signal Hill and what's that big Solaris Pass and Hermanus and everywhere. So yeah. Anyway, right guys, let's get cracking. So the purpose of this, there's no particular agenda, okay? There's no particular thing. It's just essentially just see where we're at. Let's take stock of where we're at, how the week has been, how we have felt about the week, how we're feeling about everything now, and then prepare ourselves for the week ahead. It's in the UK anyway, it's going to be quite a pivotal week. You know, everyone's like, we're going into the third week of our lockdown. Is it going to continue? A lot of people seem to believe it will. There's even talk of cutting out exercise outside. But we'll see what happens with that. I know South Africa, you've got another while to go. I don't know about Austria. I know Sweden is doing its own thing. Seems to be doing okay. Australia, I think you guys are in the early days as well. So, you know, it's important now to be mindful of what is going on in our mind. So right now, during this time, what is your biggest challenge? Be locked down? Yeah, so you're the same as us, Lynette. Australia is the same as us. You absolutely are. It's been amazing. you absolutely are special. Yeah, you yourself, most definitely. And yeah, obviously Sweden is as well. So, McLean, you're bored. Okay. Just another round of emergency shopping. Cool. Okay, so the biggest challenge we've got lots of jobs this week, accounting, reading, DIY, put a ceiling light in the bathroom. Has the kitchen been done yet, Kevin? Are you not in lockdown in Perth? Okay, all right. So the Australia is going a little bit like the US, then just I suppose it's regional, state by state. So the biggest challenge you've had for the week, what would it be? What would you say your biggest challenge for the week is now? So the kitchen's designed. Next step is making it. Are you making it, Kevin? Are you building it? So what is your biggest challenge? What would your greatest challenge been? The furlough process? Are you being furloughed, Andre? So anyone else? Not yet. Okay. Anyone else? I got the biggest challenge. Yeah, okay, Alex, we'll deal with that. That's a good one. Staying out and not taking trades just for the sake of it. I can understand that being a uh, I can really understand that being something that we need to deal with. So I'm still going to work. Who's going? Alan, you're still going to work. It was affecting your training. Lockdown would be good. No, it's not. Well, it would. It's got as many benefits as it has drawbacks. But so you're still going to work, okay? Staying out of trade and not being in just for the sake of it. That would be a that's something I think a lot of people will experience, especially when they're in lockdown. So Patricia, you've been furloughed. Homeschooling. Are you homeschooling kids, Ben? Biggest challenge, knowing when to take profits. I have a strategy I like to commit to choosing which FIP to take profit at. Okay. Make a decision and stick by it, Dominic. That's the best thing you can do, is make a decision and stick by it. So Kevin, you're being furloughed for another 2 weeks. Okay. Not being able to pull the trigger on trades. Business and Economy Street's closed over 2 weeks. Yeah. Trying not to kill my kids. Who's that? Nolan. Balancing between positive and negative. Yeah. Market times look like they're going sideways. Very few opportunities. Yeah. Well, Pearl, that's normal. That's what you would expect. Okay. Even in normal circumstances, we'll come to that. But even in normal circumstances, that's absolutely what you would expect, given the time of year. So it's no different to any other time of year, to be honest. Okay, McLean, feeling I'm missing out on trades and to write in my trade report. Okay, I want you to send in your trade report nonetheless and say no trades, all right? Or, yeah, I want you to do that, because remember, if you send in your report after 3 weeks, you get the on the strategy session. Okay, so I need you to send that report in tomorrow, by Tuesday, sorry. Not being able to bail out and about. I'm an outside person, is he? Yeah, no, sure. Being able to trade independently. Being able to trade independently, also need to stop trading for the sake of it. That's a common one, Emma. I have 8 in my house. Good grief, we care for. I live with adults, learning difficulties, do not understand, so convincing them to stay indoors is very difficult. I can imagine, Andy, I can really imagine that. You know, I know that one of our clients has a mom who is got Alzheimer's, and it's really challenging trying to remind her and keep, because she has to break all her, the one thing that people with Alzheimer's need is routine, help and exercise, and she can't get that. So Dominic, also establishing if I'm trading off a 15-minute chart daily. I do a lot of 15-minute trade, then closer term. Okay, Dominic, what you need is not necessarily anything to do with what's going on right now. You need a trade plan, all right? More than anything, you need a trade plan. I want to see, what does your trade plan look like? I mean, you shouldn't, these are not questions that need to be coming up for you. These are things that you absolutely need to know by rote, off by heart, to the point that you've actually rehearsed them even. So without a doubt, you need a trade plan. So what is stopping you creating a trade plan where you don't have any of these issues? I understand the sentiment. I do understand the sentiment, and it'll be aggravated right now with the concept of trying to stay out of the market, or not wanting to just get in the market for the sake of getting into it. That I understand, because we're dealing with a whole host of emotions. But when it comes to actually what you do, you shouldn't have any doubt about that. That is, you'd be wise to be very clear about what it is you do when you go to the market. Does that make sense? So Anthony, it took no trades. That was tough, especially when one saw a number of small moves that won. Equally seeing certain setups losing because of volatility as opposed to bad entry. Yeah, absolutely. And look, there were, in my opinion, there was only, for us in Tribe Traders, Anthony, there was only one or two Bugsies that were really good that I saw were potential. One of them, I think you might have been pipped out of, and the other one would have gone on to make a good return. But again, that really and truly is down to the time of year. It's quarter end, the end of the first quarter. So that alone, you've always got this at this time of year. This past week, it's always going to be flat. It's going to be consolidating, having had profit taking for a while. So really and truly, the market did what it always does. Hiding the Xbox. Yeah, I imagine hiding the Xbox for kids must be challenging to try and get them to do school at home, do school work at home. Okay, keeping up to date with all the training webinars from all our supply companies. Great learning. Good, that's a good one. Hi, Steve. No worries, we're only just really kicking off now. Challenges find balance between homeschooling, working full-time, focusing. Can I just put this to you guys? It might sound controversial, all right? I don't have kids, so I realize that this may not land well, all right? But also appreciate the fact that because I don't have kids, I'm not in it, all right? I'm not in the weeds. I can't think of another way of saying that, but I'm not in it, right? So I'm looking at it from an outsider's perspective. So it might have validity, it might have merit. I'm just going to put it to you, all right? We are all experiencing something so unique and so different that when we get through this, the world is going to change, right? There's no two ways about it. We're going to change. The world is changing. The world is going to change when we get through this. The world's going to be a different place. It's not going to be better. It's not going to be worse. It's going to be different. The trick is going to be how adaptable we are in that process. That's going to be the trick. And that's part of why I want to keep these things going until we get through it, just having these weekly sessions. So there's reality checks. So it's all different. Everything's different. I'm going to put it to you. Are you putting unrealistic pressure on yourself and children by continuing to homeschool? As I said, some of you might find it, inflammatory and not helpful. But I just want to put it out there. It is, we're all going through something completely different. Are we putting unfair pressure on ourselves? Is it possibly a time where we relook at absolutely everything? I never went to school. I did okay. I wasn't homeschooled. So I'm just putting it out there. What do you guys think? Is it, are we putting unfair pressure on ourselves and kids and doing this? I understand the kids need to be kept occupied. Otherwise I get really bored. But it seems to me like listening to a lot of my friends with kids, the pressure is unbelievable because you're not being taught to do this. You're not being prepared for it. Is there a different way you can look at it? A different way you can do it? A different way, rather than doing what we perceive as always been as the way things have always been done around education? Is this an opportunity to change the way in which children learn? Is it an opportunity to change what children learn even? You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, Lynette, 100%. And I know you're doing this as well, aren't you? You're homeschooling your kids as well, putting undue pressure and creating unrealistic expectations. Okay, so you've not given your kids. Okay, that's fair enough. Good, because what I'm thinking is like I want to give you an example. things have changed, right? Everything has changed. Everything is changing. So, like if you're in the retail business, you're most likely furloughed or not employed, right? If you're in the tourism business, you're most likely not employed. Hospitality, possibly not employed. If you have investments, like there is, what is massive is, for example, Airbnb property investments, right? Where people buy properties to Airbnb it. And it's been incredibly lucrative, right? And overnight, I know people have had bookings cancelled for, where they would typically have like an 80% occupancy rate. That's now gone to zero, but you still have the cost of that property as an example. So the question now needs to be asked, well, how do I address that? How do I deal with that? Because that's the reality that we're facing. How do I deal with that? Either you can succumb to that burden, or you can actually figure out a way to continue to thrive through it. So like I was talking to some people yesterday, and it was an idea that who have Airbnb properties, and I've put it to them, and I've put it to people in South Africa and over in the States, and some people here in the UK. One of the things that is coming out that's really big at the moment is because so many parts of the world are in lockdown, and whole families are now locked down together. Where normally there's a balance, that there's a dance that plays out in every single family, and that dance works because the one is away working for 8 hours a day, the other one might be working 5 hours a day, whatever that dance is, and the children are at school, whatever that dance is, whatever that reality is for each household, it is a dance that works. Okay, now all of a sudden everything's been turned upside down on its head, and now everybody's full-time on their own together. Okay, maybe not Alan, for you it's not, this wouldn't be the case, you're not in lockdown, or you're in, maybe not either for you, but for the rest of the world, for many parts of the world, that's a reality, is that families are finding it very difficult. Now in the UK, I don't know about other countries, but there's been a lot of there's been like 7, I think, murders in households. Domestic violence has gone up 30%, reported 30%. What about what's not being reported? But aside from that, how many families are really battling that don't revert to domestic violence or murder? How many families are really, really battling with that reality? Really battling. Now, they can't go off and stay with extended family because it's not the done thing. You've been told not to do that, so they can't. So is it possible that if you've got an investment, if you're a series of properties that you Airbnb, is to round market to families as an option, so families can split up for just this time, just this period of time, as an example? You giving them a phenomenal service, you're seriously empowering that family and continuing to earn income on your investment and sweating your assets at the same time. Does that make sense? And I think this is the time everything needs to be reevaluated. Everything needs to be looked at from a different angle, because things are not the same. So, what is massive at the moment? What is the most sustainable thing right now? What is thriving right now? Supermarkets. Yeah, so that's a good idea. So you're renting it out room by room to NHS workers. That's a great idea, Alex. So what is thriving right now is that, like, supermarkets, the supply chain. That's the whole supply chain is massive. There's a reliance on the whole delivery system, home improvements, sort of like more DIY home improvement type thing. What else? Engineering, for like if you're an engineer or got an engineering business of any sort, shifting from what you would typically manufacture, which might be, let's say, vacuum cleaners, to medical products. You know what I'm saying? I just think it's really important to look at everything from a different perspective. And I think that includes, the way we possibly homeschool children. What's the world going to look like on the other side? Is it going to be absolutely critical that they know the history or geography, for example? And I understand that I might be stepping on people's toes. Kevin's talking about stepping on toes. I might be stepping on people's toes. I'm just asking you to open that line of inquiry. And if you disagree with me, that's absolutely fine, but it just might make you think of sort of different ways of doing it. So motivating 16-year-old difficult as a world turned upside down, cancellation of exams, no way of knowing what's happening with college. So what are the alternatives, Steve? What are the alternatives? You know what I'm saying? So her world has been turned upside down for sure, right? Because she had a very focused view on what it is she wanted to achieve. And that's credible. It's very credible. But right now we need to think broader. What are the other options? What are the alternatives? Right, now's the time to reevaluate everything. I started saying it almost 2 weeks ago. Remember on the Tech Intensive online summit, I said that we need to reevaluate, and I'm still saying it now. We need to reevaluate absolutely everything. Everything changes, because when we get through this, guys, everything changes. Nothing is going to go back. It's not going to be like it never happened. This is too big. It will leave an indelible imprint on all of our psyches forever. Now, I'm not trying to scare anyone. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying it's good or bad. It's just different. That's all. So, and I do honestly believe that whatever challenge we're experiencing right now, and guys who've been working with me for a while will know what I'm going to say, whatever challenge we are experiencing right now is an opportunity for us to, what I call, mine that challenge. It's an opportunity because we'll all be experiencing a different type of challenge. Like Steve, your challenge will definitely be trying to help your 16-year-old. That I would imagine is a massive challenge for you. We all got different challenges right now. So in the challenges are the blessings, right? That's where the fire is. That's where the gold is. So we need to mine those challenges and find the opportunities in them, because in those opportunities we can capitalize on them. So, Emma, do you work mainly with Forex trading? Although, and just Dr. says, mainly Forex or indices? Mainly Forex or indices. Friend of mine has closed rentals down. He didn't want people coming to the area, putting unnecessary pressure on the hospital. But yeah, there's a balance there, Patricia. I get what you're saying, but I think there's a different. Oh, Paul. There's a balance there, Paul, between unnecessary travel or necessary, breaking up of the family for temporary purposes. Like that's mental health. It's sanity. It's, there's so many reasons for it. I wouldn't call it unnecessary at all. I wouldn't call it unnecessary at all. You've also got households that the house is just not big enough as well. It's too crowded, and that will have health risks in itself as well. Okay, so Lynette, it's only hard to see those challenges as positive. Only hard because you're choosing to see it as hard. Okay, again, I am not, you either love me or you hate me, okay? And I'm always going to talk straight, and I always talk from the heart, okay? So I'm going to put it to you 100% without a shadow of a doubt. I have absolutely no doubt whatsoever that you are choosing to see that. We can choose to see it either way, all right? That's hard to hear, and you're not the only one. It's everybody here is going to struggle with this, because now everyone who's been with me now for the past couple of years, they've heard me talk about this over and over, that in your challenges are your greatest gift. Embrace your challenges. When you don't see when you run towards support and gain only, and you run away from challenge or pain, you are polarized. And when you're more polarized you are, the more in which the universe will send you more challenge to try and bring you back into balance. Okay. And when we see challenge as negative, you're polarized. You're not in balance. You're allowing your head to run you. You're allowing your belief structure and your amygdala, that fight or flight, predator prey, you're allowing that to run you. We need to get out of our head and into our heart and start seeing the truth of where it is. Where's the balance? Because there will be balance. There are people making hundreds of millions of pounds and dollars right now. And if there's people making hundreds of millions of pounds or dollars right now, that filters all the way down. Okay, there is as many benefits as drawbacks. There's great loss, there's great gain as well. So put it together, there's no change. So what we don't have control, what we don't have right now is control. The virus and the politicians have the control. We don't have control, but we have choice. And we have a choice every minute of every day. And it's the choices that we're going to make over this time that's going to set us up. And either we're going to accelerate in life or we're going to decelerate. Now's the opportunity to choose. And we have that choice is a moment by moment choice that we have to take. I've been saying it again for a couple of years, how we have to become increasingly self-aware in order to trade successfully. You have to be very self-aware. You have to understand yourself. You have to understand what are the beliefs are that drive your actions. And the only way you can do that is by being self-aware, being consciously competent, being consciously aware of the language that you're saying. I have not just been saying that because I like the sound of it. I've been saying it because it's truth. And now we're being called to do it. Now we're being called to do it in our life, not just in trading. And by doing it in our life, we're going to be serving our trading. Right? So the past couple of years, you've been going along trying to trade, possibly trading from the head, not the heart, possibly trading for running to gain and support and away from challenge and pain, probably trading like that and getting nowhere, at worst losing accounts, or at best just breaking even. Okay, where in actual fact, when you start becoming increasingly self-aware and start understanding what your belief systems are and why you are responding the way you're responding to situations, including the market, when you become aware that you can address it and do something about it and do something that serves you than rather sabotages yourself, right? But now we're being called to do this in life, and that by default is going to serve our trading. We are perfectly poised right now to powerfully serve our trading and to build incredible wealth, because this is what we need to do in order to ensure that we accelerate our life and not decelerate. Because right now, one thing I can tell you for sure, you cannot remain the same. You cannot remain on one flat trajectory right now. You can't. It's impossible. We are not in usual times. We are in extraordinary times. We are in the midst of an extraordinary time. So therefore, you will not just go along go in a linear fashion. It's not going to happen. You're either going to decelerate or you're going to accelerate. And that acceleration or deceleration is up to you, and it's up to you on a moment by moment choice. Okay. If you are not used to living in a way that's consciously competent, consciously aware of the language that you're using, constantly aware of the thoughts you're having and the language that your thoughts are using, you're not aware of yourself. If you're not, it's not natural to you, it's not something you've been doing as a habit, what's going to happen is it's going to be challenging. It's going to be challenging to do it, because you're going to find yourself going off onto what's easier, and what's easier is being driven by the amygdala, driven by predator prey, those thoughts in the head, the belief systems that drive you, because the unconscious mind is absolute. Okay, it's not, it's absolute, it's linear and it's absolute, right? So whereas if we start becoming more aware of what our beliefs are and what's driving our behavior and what we're actually doing is coming from our beliefs, the language that you're using will tell you what that is, whether it's supportive or not supportive. Okay, but we're going to have to be conscious of it moment by moment. You've got to catch yourself. You've got to be increasingly self-aware in order to catch yourself just from getting becoming a victim to the challenge, becoming a victim or subjugating yourself to the agenda of the virus, the government, the politics, the society, whatever we're being controlled by, right? That's a moment by moment decision. You've got to catch yourself from being lethargic, from being apathetic, from being fear, from panic, from terror even. Okay. you've got to catch yourself. And if you do get into that space, you know what? It's okay. It seriously is okay. For heaven's sake, don't berate yourself. Don't beat yourself up about it. It's okay. It's natural. It's normal. We are in an extraordinary time. We're gonna. I had a hard day yesterday. I won't lie to you. I had a hard day yesterday. Really, it was hard. But what I did was I became aware of it very early. Why it was hard. What was driving my feeling of despair. I became very aware of it, and I spent the whole day dealing with it. But I also knew, okay, I also allowed myself the space to be that and be in there. But I knew that I would be wise to get out of it as soon as possible, as soon as I could. But I needed to process stuff. And so sometimes we need to go into that darker side in order to process. And I knew that once I had processed it, I would get out. And by the end of the day, yesterday, I was completely fine again. I was absolutely fine. It's okay to go into that dark place, into that fear, into the despair, into the apathy, into the hopelessness even of it. What's not okay is to stay there. That doesn't serve you, it doesn't serve your family, and it certainly won't serve you in the longer term. I'm absolutely convinced 100% that now's the time to evaluate everything in life. Everything. The opportunity we have right now is something we'll never have again in our lifetime, and people before us haven't had. We've never experienced anything like this. So now's the time. So poor Lynette, I'm sorry. There's one comment you made. Those challenges as positive. It's hard to see those challenges as positive and to embrace those in the moments of difficulty. So hopefully I've helped a little bit with that comment, Lynette, because it's hard to see the positive in challenges because you choose to. There will be times where it will genuinely be hard, but be aware of it. Understand that that's what's going on. You're finding it hard to find the positive right now. Why? Well, ask yourself. Remember what I've always said. Dr. John Demartini taught me a long time ago, the quality of your life is dependent on the quality of questions you ask yourself. Why are you battling to find the positive? What are you attached to? What are you polarized by? Okay. And understand that there will be times when you are finding it difficult, and then be okay with that. But understand that your role and what you would be wise to do is, as soon as humanly possible, to find the benefits, the positive in those challenges, and act on that. So, and the more you do this, here's a very important point. The more you do that, the more you will, the easier it will be to identify when you drop down into the darker place, so the lower levels of consciousness, into the fear, shame, guilt, regret. When you drop down into that place, you identify it much quicker, and you open that line of inquiry a lot quicker, and then you're able to pull yourself up a lot quicker. So it still happens, but you're able to manage it more effortlessly, with ease, grace, and it's quicker. The process is often quicker. My wife arrived here from Thailand. So, your wife's in Thailand. Wife's in Perth now. Visa which activates on May 12th. Now, with all this knowledge, she will have trouble getting a job. But you never know. Some places are screaming out for workers. Absolutely. Stuck in the middle of this with a mom far away. She's doing well. And that's okay, Alan. Trading's not your if trading is not your main priority right now, that's absolutely fine. You're dealing with a hell of a lot at the moment. I mean, that uncertainty, it's that will potentially take all your efforts, So, the demo trading is not the same. No. Okay, it makes more difficult for unemployed people to get a job. Well, Maro, it makes more, but there are opportunities right now, Maro. That's the important thing. So what I want you to understand is that there's many opportunities. The opportunities are immense right now. There's so many opportunities. And Maro, you're in the club, so you need to be taking part in every evening we get together at 7 o'clock over at Wealth Building with Judy V. People are creating businesses at the moment. We're creating businesses at the moment in that group. Okay, so if you're struggling, why aren't you joining us at 7 o'clock in the evening? Every evening, okay? There are so many opportunities right now. Doctors in the Midlands wrapping their heads.
Yeah, there's a BBC reporting on it.
Okay. Thank you so much, Lynette, Kevin. I appreciate that. Thank you. Everything in life is a choice. You wake up every day to choose good or bad. Always find the silver lining in every situation. 100%. You've got to find the silver lining. But what I want to reiterate here, Nolan, 100% agree with you. 100% agree with you there. I just want to reiterate. I just want to highlight something. And this is not directed to you, Nolan, and because given the words that you've used, I know that this is not that you understand what I'm saying. Don't misunderstand being grateful or finding the benefits of a challenge, looking for the positives in a situation. Don't misunderstand that to positive thinking. All right, they're two very different things. All right. Nolan, I'm pretty sure that's not what you meant, but just in case anyone else might pick up on that as positive thinking, it's not. You cannot replace heart-centered, open-hearted gratitude and appreciation for the benefits in a challenge with positive thinking. Positive thinking is like motivation. Heart-opening gratitude and appreciation is inspiration. And they're very, very different. Okay, they're very different. Motivation is where you need outside impulses, outside forces to get you to be motivated. All right, it's an outwardly focused state. All right, and it relies on those outside circumstances not changing. The moment they change, the moment you will lose inspiration. Okay, so it's a bit like immediate gratification. So motivation is somewhat like immediate gratification. It's not sustainable, it's not long-term, it's subjective, and you are still subjugating yourself to outside agendas. All right, whereas heart-opening gratitude, appreciation, genuine balance in your perception around a challenge and being able to find the gold in the challenge, that comes from within. That comes from your heart, your soul, your connectedness to the universe, your higher self, the greater being. All right, a greater force, a force that is unbreakable, a spirit that's unbreakable. That's where it comes from, and that won't break. It's not dependent on things on the outside. It's dependent on your state on the inside. So you have 100% control over that. You have 100% inspiration, being driven by 100% inspiration from within, from a balance which creates love and open-heartedness. It's sustainable, it's long-term, it's empowered, it's living life to your agenda, not subjugating yourself to other agendas. Okay, so make no mistake, don't ever fall for that trap, right? Guys, never fall for that trap. Positive thinking will only get you so far, but it won't get you an accelerated life. Okay, it's a bit like, I suppose in another way, to use trading as an analogy, is a little bit like Wall Street trader as opposed to a super trader. Okay, Wall Street traders, by and large, it is a generalization, but by and large, they burn out. Super traders trade for life, like Ray Dalio, for example. Okay, so like the super traders would be inspired, would have heart-centered gratitude and inspiration, whereas the Wall Street traders would be positive thinkers. Steve, yes, could have done that, absolutely. After last week's huddle, a few minutes meditation would have been good, like on a boot camp, heart coherence. Would have been a great grim way to finish. Would be a great way to finish. Great way to finish. Okay, yeah, we can do that. We can finish. But the thing is, Steve, that not everybody was in, not everybody's here was at the boot camp. So that's the important thing. So but we could probably finish with some heart coherence. Joran, that's brilliant. Your way of explaining how to embrace challenges totally changed my life. That's brilliant. Me too, Joran. Awesome. I can see that. I've watched that, Joran. I've watched that. I've seen it. It's incredible. You vote for heart coherence, heart coherence. Okay. I've been meditating at least twice a day. Very helpful. Silent with your thoughts for 20 minutes. Absolutely, Paul. Again, guys, you don't have to, if you're just starting off with the sort of starting off with meditation or getting some silence. I'll talk about that in a minute. You don't have to do it for 20 minutes. You can do it for just 3 minutes or 1 minute. Okay, the value you get from meditating or just quietening the mind just for a minute and then slowly increasing it, it's just incredible. 20 minutes is great. That's a great chunk of time. It's the optimal. So, Michael, I lost someone to COVID-19 at the start of the week, really worried about another. I'm keeping positive each day. She eventually diagnosed, finding it difficult to deal with the challenge all at once. Yep. It is challenging, Michael. It is challenging. But again, like I've said, you need to take time out, quieten the mind, listen to the voice of the heart, because that's when you start listening to the voice of the heart more and more and more, that voice gets louder and louder and it drowns out all the noise around. Okay, and that's what we need to do. We need to get that inner voice so loud that it drowns out all the voices around us. And you're just going to need to take real good care of yourself at the moment. You're going to have to really take some time out for yourself. Okay, it's all fine while you've been there for other people, but you've got to do like what the air stewards do, all right, that they suggest we do when we're flying. Put our mask on first before we help others. So you need to make sure that your immune system stays strong, that you're able to help people. You're an incredibly compassionate guy and with so much love and care to give. But make sure you are looking after yourself first and foremost, right? Will you do that, Michael? I really need you to take time out, quieten the mind, and start listening to the voice of your heart. And when you start doing that, you'll start knowing what to do. Remember when I talk about trading, what I often say, guys, you will recognize what I say. When you are heart-centered in your trading, decisions are null and void. You never find yourself needing to make a decision because you just know what to do. It's not a decision. It's just a natural progression of the next thing you're going to do. Remember, guys, I've always said that, yeah? There's the same now with you right now, Michael, is that right now you need to make sure that you protect yourself, that you look after yourself. And the way you're going to do that is to have some quiet time, some alone time, and to and listen to the voice of your heart. And in doing that, you're going to be building your immune system, because right now when you start swamping yourself with overwhelm around challenge, you weaken your immune system. Okay, there's another really good reason why we need to maintain a high level of inspiration, a high level of heart-centered gratitude, appreciation, and love and compassion, is that actually, because of the biological impact that has on our body, it actually increases our immune system and it protects us from, should we get the, is that what you call it? You get it? Should you get or contract the virus, you are able to fight it off. Okay, and that's important. We need to be able to maintain that state. I mean, apart from anything else, apart from it serving us, we'll serve society as well. You're one less person that needs medical attention. So okay, I just want to see. Paul, you went to give blood. You went to give blood yesterday. I didn't know. You said that on Friday or the other day you were going to do that. I didn't know you could still do that. Our hospital's needing blood right now. So I went and get blood yesterday. St. George's and Tooting. I asked staff how was the main hospital. They said it's quiet and they're coping well as they've shut the A&E. I think that's going to be an interesting as well, because there's been a lot of people not going to A&E, whereas before I think that there's been a lot of abuse of the system, hasn't there? But a lot of people going to hospitals, A&E, for silly little things, whereas now people don't want to do that, and realize that, well, you know what, they've been able to deal with themselves. They become far more empowered, being able to deal with situations themselves, not needing to run to the medical system at the drop of a hat. They're not coming in my inbox. There's no emails. There's just a Facebook group. There's no emails. Maro is a Facebook group, and you're in that Facebook group. And I've said it to you a few times, even at the boot camp. Okay. So reach out to support, Maro, if you can't find it. Okay. Support at tribetraders.servicecamp.com. Okay. Okay, Steve. I was totally motivated before the start of lockdown, now unmotivated to do anything apart from shop and cook around me. Been so worried about having a heart attack through being so stressed and anxious. All right, Steve. I'll come back to that, Steve. Okay, I'm going to come back to that. I just want to go through all the comments. I've got 54 I haven't read here, so I'm going to quickly go through them. Would you say inspiration and motivation get together, go together, although they're very different? Yeah, I hope I've answered that question, Lucia. They're very, very different. Very, very different. So, Michael, you can start doing that for yourself. Was that in response to my topic, my thing, my suggestion, Michael? Yeah, absolutely, Tamsin. I think that would be a really good output. Okay, Michael, good, excellent. I really feel very strongly about that. I think you need to do that. You're forgetting that, and you'll be powerfully helping those around you by doing that. Okay, and I think you've forgotten. I think you've forgotten that, and it's very important. Okay, so the big question we need to ask this all over is, would I have done it like this if lockdown was still on? Yeah. But I think, Steve, I'm going to come back to your thing in a moment, your question in a moment. But Kevin, I think what's actually going to happen, and here's an interesting thing. I think what's actually going to happen is, I don't think people are going to necessarily have to ask themselves that question. I think this experience has been so massive, and has had such an impact. It's going to leave an indelible imprint into our psyche. So much so that, in actual fact, a lot neurons have remyelinated. All right, biologically, that's what's happened. All right, that's how powerful this is. Remember, I've said that your values can change in an instant depending on the catastrophicness, either good or bad, of the situation. Remember, I've said that before. And this is one of those moments. This is one of those times where the enormity of this situation will definitely have remyelinated, synaptically remyelinated, where our neurons have resynaptically connected in a different way, that when we come through it, it won't be a situation where we will need to choose, would I have done this during lockdown? Not. It will just not be something you do. Does that make sense? So it's quite different. It will create a very different behavior. Behavior will be very different. I don't want to turn you green and you turn into Mrs. Hulk. Sending you a blank trade report. How does it work out? I've not placed trades. Okay, you won't turn me green, I promise you, McLean. I just don't want you to miss out. I've made a ruling that I need 3 reports. If there's nothing in those reports, that's fine. It means that you're actually taking part in the program. You're not just letting it go. And that's why I said there's a condition for that, for you getting that own the strategy session. All right, because I don't want just people to pay money and never use the system. All right, and never do the work. All right, I'm not interested in that. I'm only interested in people who get results, and you are getting results in your own way, McLean. All right, you are. Okay, so I don't want you to miss out on this opportunity. And Tiny's just put in there the email address you must go. Angie, she won't be collating them at this point. She will be working a little bit, but I want to give her more time to bond with baby and get used to being a mommy. Tiny will be dealing with that. So support at tribeoftraitors.servicecamp.com. So you must send a report to there. Yeah, absolutely, Andy. Absolutely. Okay, so back to Steve, completely unmotivated. And Steve, you're not the only one. You may be the only one who has actually expressed it in that way, but you're not the only one. You were totally motivated and now unmotivated. What has happened for you is you have succumbed to all the outside noise. Okay, so you're listening to all the outside noise. You're listening to all of the drama around you. What can you do to stop that? What can you do to get back in touch with your agenda and what it is that you would love to create in your life? All right, you need to use this time as an accelerator. Currently, you're decelerating, and you're not serving your wife, your beautiful wife, and your beautiful daughters. What are you so worried about? Let's get clear about what the worry is. Because who was it that said, I spent most of my life worrying, most of which never happened? Who said that? Or was it?
It was Mark Twain, wasn't it?
Mark Twain. I think it was Mark Twain. Yeah.
Yeah, I spent most of my life worrying about things that never happened.
So okay, so I really loved your accountability learn trading plan. I'm getting used to one strategy, but FOMO can drag you into new strategies and mustard. Okay, Dominic, not when you've got a trade plan. Like, didn't you do our trade plan program? Didn't you do that? No.
Dominic did Ninja.
Yeah, but didn't he win the trade plan program?
I'm not sure.
Was it you, Dominic? I'm not sure.
Dominic might have won the Welcome Mountain.
Our trade plan template is like 50 pages, Dominic. So you absolutely need a full-on trade plan, and that will keep you out of FOMO. You'll deal with what triggers that FOMO in the trade plan program. We'll be covering some of that on the Ninja coming up anyway. So we'll be covering that on the Ninja. Oh, you won the wealth thermometer. Okay, cool. That was ace. Cool. We will be covering more on the trade plan. So I want you to get focused now on building a trade plan that will deal with FOMO. Okay, so it's strange. This is what I wanted more time to do. I want trade as income. I can't see the wood for the trees. All right, Steve. Do you know what it is that you Steve, do me a favor. Will you join our Monday, our weekly sessions in wealth building? Okay. Because that is like an open meeting. We all get to talk and all that sort of stuff. It'd be way easier to deal with this than in this forum. Okay, very specific, because you're in that group. So I want you to capitalize on it. I want you to use it. I swear to you. I swear on my life. Okay, I can help you with that. I can help you with what you're going through. It's all right. All you need is a shift in perception. But you're so in it, you can't see it right now, okay? So get clear about what it is you're stressed about. What is it that you're stressed about? What is causing that stress, okay? Write it down. What is it? What?
Give it a name. You can beat it up.
Tiny say you can even give it a name and beat it up. But get really, really, really clear about it, because the thing is, when it's in your head, when you're worried about stuff in your head and it's keeping it in your head, it grows. It's like a snowball. It gathers momentum and gathers traction, and it grows and grows and grows in your head. When in actual fact, the truth, when you actually take it out of your head and write it down and get clear about it, you actually start to see that it actually is not that big. All right, it's not that big. It might be big, but it's not that big. It's not as big as it was when you were allowing it to take control of your head, your thoughts, your thinking, where to the point where it controls your sleep as well. So get it out, get it down on paper. And once you've done that, once you've started to see it for what it is, it's like what I always say, most reason why most people are not financially secure is because they don't know where they are financially, one, and two, they don't know what it will take for them to be financially secure. They have it in my head that they need 52 million pounds in order to be financially secure, when in actual fact, the truth is they just need like 200,000 pounds. Now, whilst 200,000 pounds might seem a lot, don't you think it's a lot more achievable than 52 million? Because they have some idea that that's what it takes. Most people don't know how easy and how little you actually need in order to be financially secure. Financial security just means that you've got enough each and every month to pay your basics. So you're not on the street, right? So you have food in your belly, you've got a roof over your head, and you've got warmth and a bed, right? So being clear about that, knowing what that is, and most people are not clear about what that number is, and they don't know where they're at. Okay, I want you to get clear about where you're at. What is the stress? That's it. Yeah. So Lucia's great advice. Great advice, Lucia. So what Lucia did, she went back over the heart coherence, charge my challenges, exercise, because you were losing focus. Okay, all right, that will help. That will definitely help. But sometimes, Lucia, you can be so mired in the stress that might even be too big a step. So Steve, can you get it out of your head and onto paper? Can you do that? Can you write down the things that you're really worried about? Okay, as the first step. If you do that as a first step, and then you will realize that in actual fact, it's not as overwhelming as what you've created it. The other thing I want you to do is stop listening to news. Okay, if you're feeling vulnerable, you have to stay away from news. You have to. If you are not feeling vulnerable, but you are in a place where your inner voice is louder than any of the voices around you, like the media and the conspiracy theories and all of that, if you're in that state, then you can read the news or you can observe it. You can observe it because you won't get pulled in on it. But if you're not, if you're feeling stressed, if you're feeling out of control, you're feeling overwhelmed, you have to turn the news off. Okay, you have to. All right, until you build up your own level of immunity. Because what you're doing at the moment, Stephen, is you are lowering your immune system. Okay, that's what you're doing. And leaving yourself vulnerable to possibly getting ill. All right, and that's not something that you need to do. Yeah, be creative as well. That's another thing, and that's another thing that will help you, is being creative. Now, it might not necessarily be that making sourdough, might not be making bread, but it depends on you. But be creative. Do something that's creative. For sure, do something that's creative. Do something. The thing is, where we need to be mindful right now is we need to be mindful where we're putting our thoughts. We need to be mindful of what's occupying our mind, and you need to be only occupying your mind that take you into an expansive state and not a contracted state. And that's a choice that we have in every minute and every day. So when you're finding yourself in that contracted stress and worry and overwhelm, the answer is not to try and think positive thinking. The answer is trying to find the blessings that you have in your life right now. And when you start finding the blessings that you have in your life, even in that dark place, your heart you cannot help but your heart opens up. And then that feeling starts spreading throughout your body. and that sense of gratitude, appreciation, and love and joy starts taking over, and it's stronger, it's way stronger, and you hold on to that, and you build up a bank balance of that. You build up a bank balance of that. You know, it keeps you long. Remember in the heart coherence, when we spoke about it in the boot camp, it's like having a bank balance. You're consistently building it up, and that sustains you through the darker times. And you constantly got to build it up all the time. It's just about when acknowledging and knowing and feeling that you're in that contracted state, and in that moment, it's time. It's your role, your job is to actually take yourself out of whatever it is, the situation. You might be in the kitchen, you might be making a cup of coffee, whatever it is, you're realizing it. Take yourself out. Right, stop what you're doing. Right, consciously stop what you're doing it, and then stop what you're doing, go somewhere else, and then just focus. Okay, so where are the blessings? Where are the blessings? Start focusing on that, and allow your heart to feel into that. Allow your heart to open, and allow that to take over the oppressed state. And in that expanded place, then you can start being creative, and then you start thinking about what can you reevaluate, how can you start looking at things from a different side, how can you start capitalizing on the opportunities that there are right now, because in that contracted fear-based state you cannot see opportunities. You absolutely cannot see opportunities, and you cannot see opportunities to trade either. Okay, so haven't felt that in weeks. Yeah. So can you do that, Steve? Can you you need to stop whatever it is you're doing. Once you become aware of, you're doing something, and then you're feeling that fear, be consciously aware of that fear or that stress or that overwhelm, whatever it is, stop what you're doing. Don't continue it. Stop. Break that pattern. Okay. And then step out of it. Go somewhere else in the house or whatever it is. Take a few breaths and start looking for things you have deeper, you can be appreciative of, things you're grateful for, things that are good, because I promise you, life, the universe is balance. Here's one of the thoughts I want to leave you guys with, is the enormity of the challenge we are experiencing on an individual basis, on a family basis, on a community basis, in society, and as the world as whole. As much as that is a challenge, there is equal benefit and opportunity to the very same extent. It has to be that way according to the laws of the universe. That's what the laws of nature depict. That's what they determine. That's what they demand. And that is what the universe works. That's how it works. Okay. Everything is balanced. So for all the time that you're feeling contracted, you're feeling like overwhelmed, there's an equal and opposite benefit. Okay. I mean, the master will be able to see them both. Okay. The slave will be victim to one or the other, but the master sees the two in equal balance, and then chooses to work with the one, which is the benefit and the opportunities. And that's when you start accelerating your life. Right. Okay, so writing down 3 things each day you're grateful for made a huge difference. Cool. Yeah, totally agree, Kevin. Keep us up to date, definitely. So, Michael, I want you to listen to what I've just said as well. Okay, I understand what you're saying, that, and I'm not trying to minimize it. Okay, you know me well enough by now to know that I'm not trying to. My intention is never to minimize what you're feeling, but I would like you to look at and look at the words you're using there. This year has been really difficult, and now I'm feeling it. And now I'll find my way back. The language, the language of it's been really difficult. So where have the opportunities been? Where have the blessings been? Where have the gifts been? Okay, you are perceiving the year so far to be being difficult, therefore it's polarized. Okay, so where are the blessings? Where's the opportunities? When I said that the extent of the challenge we're all experiencing right now, all of us at some level or another, some more than others, there is an equal and an opposite opportunity. Being able to identify them both brings you into equilibrium, and that's when you're able to capitalize on the opportunities. Okay, so I really want you to focus on that, to know in your heart that the laws of the universe state that there's balance. There has to be equilibrium. Physics has shown it beyond a shadow of a doubt. We've seen it over and over. The ancient scriptures talk about it since day 29,000 years ago. They all talk about it through the history of time. Physics has proven it, that everything is light and energy, and everything is balance. So if we understand that, we are wise then when we find ourselves using the words like difficult or challenging, to also then say, let that be an alert, an internal alert to guide you to investigating and exploring where the opportunity is, where the ease is, where the blessings are. Okay, because only in that place of appreciation where you see the balance can you actually start to capitalize on the opportunities. You, in an imbalanced state, you cannot capitalize on opportunities, because what the universe will do for you is constantly try and bring you back into balance. So you're fighting that all the time. Okay, you cannot capitalize opportunity. You cannot capitalize opportunities from a depro state or an ecstatic state, because they're polarized. All right, and what will happen is you'll be spending your life trying to stay in that one of those sides. All right, trying to get from depro state, you'll be trying to get over to the happy state. From the happy state, the universe will be trying to pull you back, and you'll be ending up in the depro state. That's the dance you'll be having. Okay, but instead, the dance you need to, that will serve you, that will allow you to accelerate your life, will be from the place of appreciation and centeredness, equilibrium, where you see the perfect balance. And then you'll be able to capitalize on them, because you'll have the headspace, you'll have the time, you'll have the inspiration, you'll have the connectedness with the universe to just know what to do next. There are no decisions when you just know what the next thing is to do, because it will be from an inspired state. So completely, totally, 100%, Michael. Yeah. I don't know what that basically roller dance move is, McLean. I don't know what that is. So hopefully that was helpful. So I want you to become very much aware of what your most dominant thought is right now. Okay, so I want to leave you with that. What is your most dominant thought at the moment? Okay, I want you to become very aware of that, because the language that you're using is your greatest insight into what's driving your belief, your thoughts. The language, actually, I read something really powerful the other day. McLean, you're going to find this interesting. You're going to find this very interesting. I'm not sure it's exactly what you were talking about. Remember, we were having this conversation at Pogo Day. I think it was Pogo Day in October last year. We were talking about to understand. It was very interesting. It was, oh my God, I can't remember. It was a guy, he wrote a book in the 1800s. And language is something that I study a lot. Okay. not language as in French, English, Italian, all that language, the words that we use. But when you say, well, it's important to be aware of the language, the words you use and how you use them, because language has energy. And the language, and I've always said it to you guys, the language it gives you insight into what your true beliefs are, and what the core of the challenges that you're going through. Like, for example, Michael said he's had a really difficult year. There's his language, right? Like, for example, the one thing I learned about the word understand, when you say I don't understand, that essentially means that you don't have the ground beneath you to support you. Okay, essentially that, it's like you don't have, it turns it on its head. What were you saying, McLean? You were saying, sorry?
McLean was saying,
so you prefer to overstand. Well, yeah, well, I overstand is an empowered state. So because when you were talking about it, it got me thinking. I started researching it, McLean. So when you overstand, you are empowered. When you don't understand, it means you don't have the strength of the world to stand on. So it's power of language is massive. It's absolutely massive. So I want you to become very aware what your most dominant thought is and what the language is that you're using, because that would be the greatest insight for you. It'll be the thing that you would be wise to address and deal with most. It is the most important thing that you could address. It'll be the highest priority action that you can take, is to address that. If that dominant thought and the language around that dominant thought is not 100% supportive, it does not take you into an inspired, expansive state of balance where you can clearly see the opportunities. If it does not do that, let that be an alert to you that you would be wise to deal with that and to start finding the blessings in it, so you can actually balance your perception around it and get into that equilibrated state. Does that make sense, guys? Totally agree with your music, felt and pain, Bob Nesta, my lyric. Cool. Okay. Perfect. I'm just going through the comments. Power of language. There's a whole. It's not just books, Patricia. There's a whole series of theses and documents and stuff like that. It's not just books. It's a whole research project I'm undergoing at the moment. Okay, was that useful? Now's the time to reevaluate. Okay, so I thought we'd get onto some other topics, but anyway, what we did cover, I think, was necessary for now. I think it's very important. I think we're all in a very different place than we were last Saturday when we did last Saturday, and I think we're in a very different place. And I think what we spoke about, I thought we would talk about slightly different things, but what was needed today, I think, is what was discussed today. I want you, please, guys, to please do this. I want you to join us next Sunday, okay? And very useful, excellent. That's good. I just realized I put my dress on, best dress on. That's excellent, Regina. That's excellent. Excellent. So I want you to become very aware about what your most dominant thought is. As we go into another week of lockdown, it's going to be interesting, yeah. And it could be challenging, okay? Because what I'm seeing is a lot of apathy starting to set in and a sense of hopelessness. And what comes after that, generally speaking, is anger and rage. Let's not get there. Let's not go there. All right. We are masters of our destiny. We're not victims to our circumstances. Okay. That's why we're in this tribe together. That's why we're all here together. I want you to join me again next Sunday. What I actually want you to do is I want you to get this book. You might get it on Audible. You might get it on Kindle if you can't get it posted out. So Viktor Frankl's The Man's Search for Meaning. So I would like us to, it will help, all right, to help. One of the things that I have going for me that most people don't have is that, you know, we are in lockdown, and Viktor Frankl was a prisoner in a concentration camp. I think he was in Auschwitz. As far as I know, he was in Auschwitz.
I think it was Auschwitz.
As far as I know, can't recall.
As a child, he was in Auschwitz.
So one of the blessings that I have is that I spent almost I added it up, about 7,300 days of my life in captivity. All right. So I know what I'm talking about. I know what I'm talking about. I relate to this book. And what he says in this book is 100% true. And we can all learn from it. And that's why I can speak with such authority on how to find blessings, how to find opportunities, how to find the beauty and the growth opportunities, and how to actually put in place the accelerators for your life. Okay, so so I know what I'm talking about. This is not just pipe dream stuff. It's real. Okay. All right, guys.
Book club there on that, aren't we?
Yeah, so we'll do like a book club type thing. So we'll talk about it next week. Okay. It is very, really, Andre, you're welcome. It's reassuring. It's an exciting journey in life. It's an exciting time. It certainly is. But listen, if you do go into the dark place, it's okay. If you do go into that contractor state, it's okay. Just be kind to yourself and love yourself. Just know that your role is to move into, to acknowledge it, open the line of inquiry, what's going on, find the blessings, find the opportunities, or not the opportunities, find the blessings. What can you be appreciative of? What have you got? And bring you back into balance. And that's when you'll be able to start looking at opportunities. Okay. Cool bananas, guys. Thank you so much for joining. And we'll catch you same time next week. Lots of love.